Now, Torrey University Distinguished Professor Thane Rosenbaum. And I also want to welcome in our special guest today, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Randy Zellen. So let's start with you, Thane. Jenny's 8675309 won't be the most famous set of numbers anymore. It's now P011-35809. So what's your reaction to Trump's infamous mugshot?
Rob, first of all, that was a great anecdote. That song. That was a killer anecdote.
Donnie,
of course, it dates us, of course.
Yeah, well, I think we all fit that category.
It's exactly.
I'm sweating under my makeup thinking about that.
So, look, Rob, this was an indictment and a moment built to embarrass, right? This was beyond a criminal indictment. This was built for something much worse. First of all, remember, this is the only case that he was required to post bail. The others didn't. This was the first mug shot, right? This is the one that was most certainly designed. We're not here to actually read you the indictment or get your plea. We're just here to haul you into a Southern jail, a decrepit Southern jail. This is just not how the other actions looked. So, yes, it is a mug shot, but I do think it is a throwing down the gloves. This one was saying, we are holding you responsible as a criminal crime boss, a racketeer. We see you no better than a mafia don. And that, to me, is at a very different level. I thought it was a gasping moment in American politics.
So, Randy, let me ask you about the $200,000 bond. Like there was no chance he was going to show up for court? I mean, why the bond?
Thane could not have said it any better. This had nothing to do with criminal justice. This had everything, to me, it was like Georgia saying, look at me. Yeah. Okay? We don't roll the way the rest of you people roll. It was wrong. It was unnecessary. And quite frankly, it was a lose-lose because Georgia looked bad, the criminal justice system looked bad, and the former president has a new soundbite, a new dog whistle, and a new revenue income stream.
Amir Benno joins us, too. He's a constitutional law attorney as well, former prosecutor like you, Randy, and Newsmax contributor. So, Amir, I want to get your take on this. Trump making a last-minute change of counsel prior to being booked this week. He's bringing in a high-profile Atlanta defense attorney, Stephen Sato, to replace his lead top defense attorney. Sato is considered by many, to be an expert when it comes to evidentiary law and the RICO Act, which is what he was charged with, the all-encompassing RICO Act. So why the switcheroo?
Well, listen, if you've got a lawyer who's got more familiarity with RICO, I mean, maybe he was dissatisfied with his first lawyer's efforts to try to quash the indictment. And frankly, right now, the case, and what's really important is that the case has been removed to federal court. Mark Meadows, Jeffrey Clark, they've both filed notices of removal, automatically divests all jurisdiction from Fulton County, Georgia. Fani Willis right now has to try this case in front of a federal court unless that district judge in federal court decides to remand the case. And that's as to all defendants back down to the county. And they're going to have a hearing on that in mid-September. But right now, I doubt that Fani Willis was even aware that there was this removal statute. So he's probably brought on a lawyer who is more comfortable in federal court, more comfortable with RICO charges, and who can effectively defend him under that new set of circumstances.
Well, she's used to playing with some local thugs. She's not used to this. And, it's interesting. Thane, under the condition of his release, Trump was instructed by the court that he cannot make statements regarding his co-defendants. So this is going to clash at some point when he's on the campaign trail or he's asked this or Biden hits him with this. Do you see any court imposing this requirement as maybe election interference in some way, or can he appeal this?
I mean, this thing is ripe for the Supreme Court, right? This goes to the fundamental essence of the Constitution. Does a presidential candidate and a former president have a First Amendment right to engage in political advocacy? The Democrats have made the primary election issue his indictments. They turned this into a case about Donald Trump's alleged criminality. Now you're saying that I can't use the allegations of criminality. I can't respond to it in the public sphere in order to run for public office. And I love that you said the word thugs, Rob. Because let's remember how RICO is normally used. It goes back to the point that Randy was making. You know, when you're talking about RICO, our understanding is mafia, thugs, criminal violence, and money. None of that's involved here. None of it. This isn't about money. This isn't about violence. This isn't about thugs. Again, the misapplication, the Espionage Act in Florida, you know, the Rosenbergs, Jonathan Pollard, the Snowden, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange. In each case, there's an overcharge. There is an exaggeration to a fundamental criminal allegation that is there to sensationalize, to make him look evil. Instead of saying, you know, he might have done some things wrong, but we're not interested in negligence. We're interested in only the big ticket items that really don't apply under these set of circumstances.
Two final questions, and they're important ones. I'll start with you, Amir, and then I'll get to you, Randy. The 14th Amendment is now being brought up, right? Section 3 about insurrection or rebellion, aid or comforting. And if so, you can't hold public office, right? So this is what the left is trying to introduce now as part of the argument. Do you buy any of that whatsoever?
Well, that's their argument, but it doesn't have any merit. I mean, he's not being charged with
Right.
insurrection or sedition or any of those categories that would disqualify individuals who have sworn an oath to hold public office. But more basic to that is the fact that the president is not an officer as considered by the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment is talking about, it specifically enumerates senators and representatives and then officers. If it had intended the president to be encompassed in that, it would have said the president, but it didn't. So the only way, in fact, you know, the only way that he can be barred from office is if he's not a natural born citizen, if he doesn't meet the age criteria and the other constitutional requirements. But a conviction here would not prevent him from holding that office.
Randy, the reddest county in America, Roberts County, Texas, voted 95.3% for Trump. What if the district attorney in that county said, Joe Biden, I'm bringing you up on charges for X, Y, and Z?
Oops. I mean, but here's the thing that's very interesting. You have to wonder, who's the thug here? Because quite frankly, the DA in Georgia is being schooled. She wants one trial, and for very good reason. I only want to do this once. She may end up doing this 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Who benefits from that? The former president, because he'll sit back and look at every trial, every witness testimony. By the time you get to him, there's no way he loses.
This is insane. But Thane, thank you. Amir, thank you so much. Randy, don't you leave. You stay right there.
I'm stuck.
All right, good. Are you dropping your kids off to college?